What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the red color, playing as Zeus. His name is Player. Yes, we have the old expert TSM player coming in to show us how it's done. His opponent today, one of the new up-and-coming players in the top of the map in the blue color, playing as Oranos. His name is Grassengroom. The age-old debate. Are the new experts better than the old experts? Well, we'll get to see if that's the case in this game. Not that we can really class Grassengroom as that level of expert just yet, but he's definitely a very, very strong player, at least in the top 20 right now. So if it's even close, then obviously new experts greater than old experts. Or is it old The age-old debate will go on forever. And that's a thing. Anyways, we do have ourselves a Zeus versus Oranos matchup. I personally really enjoy this matchup. I think that there's like multiple different options for Zeus to actually go for, and I feel like Oranos has to be able to react to all of them, and that's a thing. So let's talk about what Zeus can potentially do here, what's most popular and what's most effective. So Zeus, I said 3 options, right? You have 3 really strong options. Option number 1 is to go for a 1-town center. My golly gosh, thank you for the 2369 bits. Elmao, Rave Dev, appreciate you. That's so nice. Thank you, my friend. What a lovely way to start the day. So option number 1 is Zeus can go for a center opening with Jason Odysseus, pressure the enemy hunt, get some early advantage there. Move in with Hoplite and Hippocon to bolster. We see a granary coming up. Thank you for the prime there. Let me debunk. Appreciate you, my friend. So they can go for that strategy. It's really effective. Oftentimes you win the game by picking off enemy units rather than with your centaurs rather than enemy villages, and you find an advantage in the Mythic Age. Option number 2 is you go for an incredibly fast advance time. I'm talking 4 minutes into the game, and you go for Hoplite Hippocon yet again. Thank you for the 11 months, me, Gaz. Appreciate you, my friend. We do have a comment there. Do you have any guesses when Age Mythology Retold is going to come out? I feel like we're going to see some information in the early parts of 2023, and I feel like we're going to see the game released in October. That's my guess. It's not fact. It is not fact. That's my guess. Anyways, so option number 2 is an Athena Rush. I'm trying to get through this, guys. Option number 2 is an Athena Rush where you go for Hippocon, Hoplites right off the bat, and you pressure your opponent's gold mine or your opponent's hunt, and you find an advantage that way. If the Oranos player isn't prepared, goes for a later advance time, like goes for a 4:30. Oftentimes they can just straight lose because they get pushed off their hunt really hard. They get pushed off everything really easily, and it can be really tough for them to find an advantage there. And then option number 3, which is also a very strong option. All 3 of these are really good options, is to grab a second town center, if it's good, and play defensive and try and win with an underworld play. So we'll see what TSM player is going to go for. It looks like he's going to be going for a 4:30 advance time. He's already got 2 villages on the temple, which does indicate to me that we're probably going to be seeing some form of Hermes. It's very unlikely to see Mass Minotaur, as there's the Hermes coming through. Very unlikely to see Mass Minotaur in this matchup because Valor is really strong and it's really tough to... Thank you for the... 1,069. This Rave Dave coming in. It's payday. It's payday for Ray Dave. All right. So it's really tough for Mass Minotaur to work in this matchup. Really, the only matchup where Mass Minotaur might work might be something like your Zeus versus like Thor or Odin, or maybe even Zeus versus Ra. You can make those Minotaur working. We do have is it worth to buy AOM or wait for Definitive Edition? Well, as we see the Jason coming in here and the Oracle Hero going to come over here and say g'day as well. The Oracle Hero would say, look, if Age of Mythology Extended Edition is on sale, which it is right now, or has been, I'm not sure if it still is, it's probably worth it to pick it up just to play the campaign through if that's what you want to do. It's like $5 and it's a nice time, but yeah. that's what I'd say. If it's on sale, go for it. As we see the heroes continuing to put this pressure on over here as the Promethean's going to come through. This citizen desperately needs to retreat away. And with that Oracle hero here to bash the Jason away, the snare mechanic will be enough that that this citizen should be able to get away. But that's a big win right now for TSM player at the start of this game. As you do see the Murmillo and the Terma coming out. No surprises there. This citizen has to get back into the base and see what it's going to do. TSM player, on the other hand, already getting Sylvan Lore out, already pressuring this food space here with just the Jason and the Centaur at the moment, as the Odysseus is going to be moving forward looking for something to target down. And there's the Oracle coming back in here as those villagers going to pop out and start shanking away. There's the Murmillo over here. So long as Grassengroom doesn't click the Valor too soon, he can utilize the mana, garrison the Terma. Make sure you get 3 Murmillo heroes here. At least it's only 1 Terma hero. The problem with getting a Terma hero is that your opponent is always going to be bolting, as we see the Prometheus getting picked off there. Your opponent is always going to be bolting the Murmillo. And that means that you're only going to have 1 Murmillo to chase around the Centaur. And there's going to be more than 1 Centaur to chase around. And this other Terma is going to get taken down fairly easily by the Odysseus in the early stages of the game. As it looks like TSM player has his stable up. Now, he can definitely afford to throw down a barracks as well and start moving towards that. You really don't need a whole lot of gold income to support it all. Maybe like 7 villagers on gold. And then maybe like 10, 11, 12 villagers on food is enough to support all of that. As now we're going to be seeing those Centaur moving around. So let's take a look at what Grassengroom's got. He's got a whole bunch of units out already. He's going to be looking to target this down straight away. It's exactly what you need to do with Oranos. You need to get going, make sure your resources are low, spending all of them as fast as you possibly can, and put the pressure on as best as you can. While your opponent is going to be equally trying to pressure you in this matchup. As we do see the Odysseus here, the Centaur here, going to get some good damage done already. There is a shockwave. It might be useful to do that there as we see a citizen kill, as that citizen was way too far out of position. These Centaur can actually target down those units there if they so choose, as we are seeing the Murmillo over here getting targeted down by the Odysseus. Exactly what you want to do. You let the Centaur deal with everything else, and this hero Murmillo is not long for this world, though. These Centaur going to be going down as well here, but it seems like more Centaur coming in, and now Grassengroom has to retreat away. TSM player holds beautifully, perfect micro there. If you missed what happened, essentially TSM player gets his heroes to focus down the enemy heroes. That's what is important. The heroes focus down the enemy heroes, and the Centaur kill the human units. And that way you deal with the first Valor very, very easily. And now TSM player has got himself a ton of Centaur out. He's going to be looking for more raids. I think that oftentimes these raids can get very, very lucky or very, very unlucky. The most guaranteed damage you can do is get your Katoskopos and scout your opponent's base and find where the enemy military buildings are. Find where the... we're seeing a very, very nice raid here as Grassengroom. He's going to be losing a citizen. No, Shockwave comes in. No citizen kill there. That mana was really far away from the orcs for some reason. But to continue the point... if you hit this, if you see where the units are streaming with like whatever the rally point is, then you can continue to hit that location over and over again, taking out 1 Murmillo at a time. So 3 Centaur do 1 hit a Murmillo. There we go. Exactly what he should be doing. We get a little bit of damage received, but he gets good damage dealt there, as this Murmillo is getting very much out of position. Could definitely take that out, but TSM player decides against it. Grassengroom here struggling just a little bit to continue villager production out of his town center, as we do see the military academy down. Look at TSM player's resources right now. He's going to need a couple more villagers on gold, but he's going to be able to produce very, very nicely here. Continue getting that economy going and continue to get further into this game here as the units moving forward. The Centaur are going to be doing tons of damage. We do have a whole bunch of those hero Murmillo out right now. We see the heroes moving straight in. Nice micro here from TSM player. The villagers pushing forward. This hero Terma needs to get taken out here. There's no more. Well, there's one other hero Murmillo Murmillo here, but it's not getting the damage done that it needs to. TSM's players, Micro there, absolutely impeccable, pulling this Centaur back. We get the Centaur on the backside here, going to be taking down these Terma, as well as the villagers coming through to help take out the hero units to allow those Centaur to get a huge amounts of value. Another hero, Murmillo, coming in onto this position will almost take down a Centaur, but TSM players Micro is just off the charts good in this game as he manages to completely outmaneuver, out-micro, and outplay Grassengroom thus far in this game here. As this Murmillo going to get chased down, and then the Centaur can simply just take down everything else here as Grassengroom has to retreat back. He's got no more heroes in his army, and there is getting closer and closer to be a critical mass of Centaur. Now, I want to take this time just to nail in the point. Imagine if there was a physician in this point in the game. You would be able to heal up this Centaur, this Centaur, this Centaur. Those units would all get healed back up, and then Grassengroom, who's done a whole bunch of little bits of damage, would now essentially be even further behind. That's one of the main points as to why the physician is broken, just in case people didn't believe my video. So I feel like we did get a fairly resounding, yeah, maybe these units aren't so good. But onwards and upwards. Now, Grassengroom gets himself another 3 Murmillo heroes, but he's out of Valor now. He's got no more Valors. So in order to deal with these Centaur, he's got a couple of different options. Option number 1, as we see the Centaur trying to take down some citizen in the base. Option number 1 is to go through Hyperion and then get himself some Satyr and hopefully be able to deal with them with the Satyr. Option number 2, as we see some ghost buildings coming up here, but there's a little gap over there. Option number 2, which is the better option, in my opinion, in this matchup for Oranos, is to go through Thea and make himself Stymphalian Birds. Now, Stymphalian Birds are a really good counter against the Centaur. So much so that it might even be worth it for Oranos players in this matchup when they see the Centaur coming forward to actually go for some sort of fast heroic or semi-fast heroic, like 6-unit semi-fast heroic style gameplay where they defend the initial aggression and then go to the heroic age and start making Stymphalian Birds to deal with these Centaur a lot easier. As we see this citizen getting caught out here, going to be making a dart for the mana. Will manage to get in there. These citizen here easily able to get into their own mana as we see one hero, Murmillo, here to fight this one off. As now the units here for the Oranos player Grassengroom coming in, catching out TSM player's army. He's not in the good position here at all. There's plenty of hero units right now as Grassengroom actually manages to create them manually there, pushing those Centaur away as the Murmillo are going to clean up everything else, and TSM player's going to be kicking himself for moving out here as Grassengroom manages to completely clean that army. That is the advantage of Oranos, is the ability to continually mass units throughout the classical age. The way you get further ahead of the Oranos player is to just continually whittle down their units with your Centaur. You don't want to take any real fights here. And now Grassengroom, he's got an opportunity now to get serious amounts of damage done onto TSM player, who's now at 72 population. Grassengroom will be at 115 of 115 population. Not only that, he's going to be able to go to the next age incredibly soon. We see a town center coming up here for TSM player, but right now the Centaur getting targeted down here as the unit's moving in, and there's a ceasefire coming in here. As TSM player, who was once ridiculously far ahead in this game, seems to have lost that advantage. And now we've got a game, ladies and gentlemen. This is where things get exciting. Oh no, Hyperion got a choice here for Grassengroom. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I think Thea in this matchup is better, but you can definitely make Hyperion work. We'll see what Grassengroom's plan is going to be. Generally speaking, when we see Hyperion, the idea is to get some sort of timing push happening. You cast Chaos, you get yourself Satyr and Destroyer and Arcus, and you push, and you push, and you push. We'll see if it'll work. We'll see. We'll see. I do think that the more safe more safe way to play is to go Thea, go Hecate, make your Stymphalian Birds, put your Tartarian Gate down, pressure a different location in the Mythic Age with, say, Fire Siphon and the armor you've already constructed. We see this Oracle here getting taken down. Hyperion just about to hit. TSM player here He's got his farms set up. Look at those beautiful farms there. He's got his farms set up. He's still eating hunt. He's still fine here. 97 or 100 of 130 population. Hyperion hits. And Grassengroom here, he is well and truly committed to some sort of heroic age shenanigans here, as he's going to be pushing in and trying to take down this town center with his units here. He's got a whole bunch of these. So 14 Murmillo, that's a good amount with the Promethean as well. It's going to help out a ton here. I would definitely think about casting Chaos on this position here, as he does do that. Hits one of those center, hits a bunch of those human melee units, as now TSM player going to be retreating back, allowing that town center to get just a little bit of damage done while the units retreat away. But there's just there's such a big, massive unity. Huge shockwave coming in as well. It's going to allow Grassengroom to snipe down some of these centaurs that are starting. The mass is gone now. There's one left. It's just unupgraded classical age army right now for TSM player against Grassengroom. And Grassengroom's army is quite strong here. It's going to be continually being rebuilt very, very quickly here. And TSM player, while he does have a population advantage now, the question is going to be, can he maintain this defense, as Grassengroom has to retreat, but he's now going to start dwindling down those Terma numbers and start making a very, very strong army that can deal with what TSM players built here. But the question is going to be, can he get it in time, or is TSM player going to be able to get up to that 130 of 130 population and just defend until he wins? That'll be the big thing that we're looking out for here in this game, as Grassengroom is at 98 of 115 population. He does need to wait just a little bit, maybe getting himself heavy infantry here as well wouldn't go astray. So we'll see what he's going to try here as the units continue to push back and forth. Looks like the palace targeting down the town center targeting down the palace, but TSM player too smart, refocuses his town center. Going to start taking out those Grassengroom units here, as the army trying to push through here as best as it possibly can. And it looks like while it's working, the army here for Grassengroom going down. TSM player here, very, very strong. A very good position to be in. We see a second town center now coming down for Grassengroom here. As well, what can he really do at this point is the big question. He's got only 4 villagers on food here. He's no longer training villagers. Is that what's... There's no way he's at max villagers. Looks like Grassengroom is just going all in at this point, trying to break TSM player, because maybe he realizes the position he's in, and that maybe building villages is a little bit... Like, I need every single unit I possibly can here, is maybe what he's saying. He's making Promethean still instead of Satyr. I think that's a really, really big mistake, as the Satyr coming in will be able to clean this army very nicely. And while this is going on, we see TSM play doing something a little bit peculiar, starting to make Toxotes here in this army. As the Terma numbers start dwindling down, he's like, all right, we just need to defend. So Toxotes, not a bad unit to defend. Meanwhile, medium infantry come through. The Satyr getting targeted down there by the Odysseus. Grassengroom retreating back. He still hasn't started villages out of either of these locations, so his army is going to be gigantic, and player is continuing to push forward here. And we'll see if his army can clean up Grassengroom or not. Meanwhile, this palace is still targeting down the enemy town center, just not helping out at all. There we go. Grassengroom finally decides to refocus that palace. You have to continue to refocus it, otherwise it'll immediately target back down that town center, it would seem, as we do see the army here for TSM player gets cleaned. And Grassengroom's all-in strategy right now is somehow working, as TSM player pulls back here. There's lots of gold mines though on the map that Grassengroom needs to be securing here in order to win with no economy, because that's the sacrifice that he's making right now. Zero economic improvements here. 0 extra villagers, going full army. If he wins the fight, he needs to kill off tons of villagers to find a serious advantage here, as we do see TSM player retreating back. Grassengroom with ridiculous amounts of units here. He's got 9 medium destroyers. They're going to take out this town center very, very fast. And TSM player can also, well, what can he really do? He's not able to get to the next stage. He's thrown all the farms down in his base. He's got tons of villages. He's still trying to make everything he can. I mean, throw down more military buildings, I guess, and just continue to to recreate those here. As you see the villagers coming over here, the units getting taken down. TSM player in a very, very difficult position here as Grassengroom is making a very, very strong case for don't build villages. He's now starting villager production again just from one town center. He takes out the town center here. The Arcus going to be cleaning up these villages, and Grassengroom has found his advantage. He now needs to work out whether or not he can convert this one or not, as the military academy here going to be going down. The gold villagers over here will be retreating. There's 2 gold mines over here. The walls are up already as the Terma going to be trying to break their way into this location. We do see a random centaur over here as the lowest HP Terma here. He does get converted, but it will be enough to kill off that that Terma there. My golly gosh. Brave Dave!
TSM player is my baby daddy. PLZ, telephone him to contact me.
All right. We'll get TSM player on the line for you, Rave Dave. Thanks, my friends. As well, now Grassengroom can start thinking about getting himself like upgrades. He can get himself medium infantry or heavy infantry, I should say, extra town centers. He can start his villager production completely up as he's managed to restrict TSM play up to one town center. TSM player is now able to go through Dionysus though, so he's still got economy, and he's. I don't know if I like the Dionysus. I've said this a couple of times that I feel like the biggest advantage that Zeus has in this matchup is Underworld, and that's where you actually find a lot of your advantages, because the Oranos town centers, they're really weak, 2,100 HP. So you can very, very easily take those out there, as the Chaos does get dropped there onto these units. Hitting that one probably would have been a good idea to hold on to that for potentially the the Heroic or Mythic Age myth unit. If you don't need to drop it, probably don't drop it, is a good way to go there, as the centaur does get taken out. And now Grassengroom moving over to this location. We see a ton of military buildings here getting dropped by player as he tries to build a wall and protect his gold villagers in this corner here. As they won't last for long though. These are destroyers, and they're heavy destroyers now, as they're going to clean up these buildings very, very fast. Those villagers not long for this world. TSM player now getting himself, or has got himself already, the second town center over here as the Heroic Age comes in. Bronze getting cast over here. There's hardly any units here though. You can just turn around and fight this, as the town center is almost up, and I feel like if he keeps retreating, it's going to get prevented, as more Promethean coming in here to fight on this location here. We do see a big shockwave being cast. They're sending those bronze units away, as the Hydra coming in for TSM player to help out. This town center is almost up. Grassengroom here, not floating resources at all, and he's able to go up through Hecate somehow, some way in this game. He's been able to support the entirety of this economy without producing many villagers at all here. Up through Hecate, going to drop that. It's going to be ridiculously tough for player to defend against that. Player does have the villagers in order to maybe do it, but it's still going to be a tough one. He can send his heroes over there and tank the Tartarian spawns while the villagers kill off the Tartarian again. It's the best way to do that. So we'll see if he's going to be able to make that work here, as we see the destroyers coming in onto this position. The Contarias coming over here, keeping an eye on this town center as best as they can, as the villagers have to retreat away from that location here. Now we see TSM players' walls getting targeted down as a strong point of weakness there, it would seem. Just kind of sitting there, not doing much, but Hecate just about in. How are the armory upgrades looking here? I imagine there are no armory upgrades. We do see copper shields though, and this upgrade is a bit of a funny one. Bacchanalia, 5% extra HP for every single one of your units. Not bad, not good, not bad. Worth grabbing. We see a fortress coming down now for player here, as he's going to be wanting to get himself out Petropolis here, and while that happens, we see the Tartarian Gate coming into the main base of TSM player, going to start doing tons of damage here, but we immediately see the villagers getting pulled off of the farms, going to start taking this Tartarian Gate down. It does not have masons here. We don't see masons getting researched at all here, as the pressure is still mounting. Grassengroom not quite able to really support the 45 population army with his economy. Just yet, look at this Hydra sitting with 3 heads here, looking like an absolute beast. These Tartarian spawns going to be picking off these villages incredibly fast here because there's no heroes in. The Heracles is going to come out, and in that moment, TSM player decides to tap out here. GG, well played by Grassengroom. To me, it seems like there was 2 moments in this game that were, well, one moment which was a TSM player mistake, which was he took his advantage. He thought he could apply some pressure, but you really can't apply pressure to the Oranos with the Centaur strategy that well in the classical age. The best idea is to go Apollo, go Hera, hit some sort of underworld and force and hit a lightning storm. That's the best way to really convert an advantage that you get in the early game with Zeus. But then Grassengroom does something absolutely crazy. He goes to the heroic age through Hyperion in this matchup, which is already strange enough in my opinion. And then he decides, you know what? Not going to build any villages. No citizens here whatsoever in the heroic age. I'm going to go up to 130 of 130 population without any villages. And I'm just going to keep on putting pressure onto TSM player, take his town center out, and really cause a lot of issues for him. And that was just everything there in this game. Thank you so much for the gifted sub, ZDub13. Appreciate you. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next game.